Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John, not very vengeful tonight.
I'm JD and I have peanut butter in my mouth.
You said let's start.
I know, and I took a bite of peanut butter.
Well, we do use peanut butter to make it look like that some of our hosts are talking. So
that'd be really funny if this was a video podcast.
You know that's what they do with horses to make them look like they're talking, right?
Mr. Dredd had peanut butter and stuff. I heard a rumor that they put a carrot in his butt. That might have been a Bobcat Goldthwait joke that I took as legitimate. Yeah, I just left the theater. I just got home from this movie.
This is gonna be the hottest hot take.
You saw a movie?
I saw a movie.
Well, I think we'll get to that in a minute. Other than the movie,
way to see Dog, right? The Channing Tatum movie.
Absolutely.
Yes. Can't beat Channing Tatum. Before we get to the movie that you saw, how was your week?
I got a puppy. We've been applying. We lost our two dogs last summer. Both in 15 passed away, and my little guy has been having a hard time dealing with loss, as he just turned 6, so it's been tricky. And my wife decided she was ready to get another dog, so she's been applying at all these rescue places. And I've never felt rejection like I felt rejection from these tons and tons of rescue dogs that we've applied for and never heard a thing back on. We applied for so many dogs and never heard a word back. Well, I came home from the little kids regional with my kid the other day, and my wife goes, "Look at this cute face." And I'm like, "That's a cute face. So go ahead, apply." And I didn't think we hear anything. And then we got a call back the next day, and we had an interview on Saturday, and we have a dog. We have a German Shepherd mix. I think we have to do a DNA test because he looks like all kinds of different things. And his sisters look German Shepherd. He almost looks like a Wheaten Terrier. So
yeah, the pictures, he looks like a terrier.
He does. But I mean, his paws are gigantic, right. And his sisters are clearly shepherds. So we're going to do one of those DNA swap things just to see. And it's also going to help us know kind of what to look for, genetically speaking, with him. But he is such a good boy, and he's so cuddly, and he's so fun. And yeah, we named him Astro.
Yes, but not after Astro on the Jetsons or Astro Boy.
No, my little guy had we let him make, because we said, "This is your dog. This is your responsibility. So what do you want to name him?" And he said, "Well, we told him he's a shepherd mix. He was shepherd." He said he had his first wrestling tournament at Allen B. Shepherd High School, and they are the astronauts. So he said, because Allen Shepherd was an astronaut. So he said, I want to name him Astronaut. And my wife and I looked at each other, started laughing, and said, "Well, how about we call him Astro for short?" So that's stuck. He is Astro Oliva, and he's fit in perfectly with our family in only 2 days. So it's been awesome.
He looked like he liked you a lot.
He loves Daddy. Let me tell you, the last two dogs were big on Mommy. This one's real big on Daddy. Hey, speak of the devil. Here he is. The two troublemakers. Oh, hello. All right. You too, huh? Both you troublemakers, get out of here. No, hey, Andy, bring him with. Hey, Astro, out of here. Go with Andy. Come on.
Now you got to manage two of them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the problem. Now he's got a partner. Okay, hey, show off. Take the mongrel. Come on. Go. No, don't grab him. Don't grab him. I have to do a dog indectomy. Shall return.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting for GD, how was?
That's funny.
How was your week, John?
It was okay. you know, I took today off because I had like it's that time of year. Taxes, got X-rays, got
You get your taxes X-rayed?
Yeah. It's the newfangled way of doing it, because then they send the X-rays directly to the IRS and you get paid a lot quicker.
Never heard that trap.
Well, they need to know where to inject the
money.
Or extract it.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where they can inject the money because
they're just making sure you're not hiding it anywhere, untoward. So yeah, nothing really to complain about. Just waiting for the new season. We talk about streaming wars once in a while. Funimation was one of the big anime streaming sites next to, say, Crunchyroll and Netflix and High Dive. High Dive does a little bit more smaller stuff, out of the way stuff. So Sony, that owns Funimation, bought Crunchyroll for $1.7 billion.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. You would think that Crunchyroll would be the one that goes away, but no. Crunchyroll has the better streaming service.
Probably has the bigger customer base.
So Funimation is moving over the past week. Everything on Funimation has moved over to Crunchyroll.
That makes sense. So Crunchyroll's got the bigger brand. So,
yeah, the more liked brand. Nobody liked the Funimation. Like their apps for the phones sucked. There are lots of complaints about stuttered streaming or just broken streaming. The funny thing is, like, Funimation has things that would be nice for Crunchyroll to adopt. Like when you have a dub and a sub. Do you know what a dub is? When they've dubbed an anime and then you got the sub or the subtitles, right? On Funimation, it's just you go to what language you want, you hit it, and you're done. But on Crunchyroll, they're two separate seasons for some reason. So you'll have two season ones, one in Japanese, one dubbed, and one in Japanese with subtitles. So, like, if they can combine them well and they don't get rid of the people that did all the stuff that people like, which is what usually happens, streaming wars start. And now their biggest competitors pretty much Netflix, and then some of the free sites that pirate the stuff. But that's about it.
That's interesting. It's like, it reminds me of that part in Tommy Boy where Dan Aykroyd's telling him he just wants the box, right? They bought Callahan Auto for the box. That's basically what they did. They want the box.
Yeah, just for the name.
I mean, it makes sense. Streaming. We're in the streaming wars. We talked about this last 4 years. The streaming wars are starting to consolidate, right? We're seeing a slow consolidation of things, so it makes sense. Sony's not stupid. They say, "Oh, people like this, and it's better than what we got. Let's get it."
Speaking of streaming wars, we have an article related to that to talk about.
I didn't read any of. I'll let you know. I didn't read any of the articles ahead of time because I was watching a movie. So I'm reacting on the fly. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, good. Yeah, and you weren't here 2 weeks,
I wasn't. I was gone. What was I doing last week? Oh, last week was Andy's birthday. And
the flat tire.
Oh, and I got a flat tire too. I forgot about that. I blew a flat tire with the kid in the car. That was fun.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it was okay. It's like flat tire, pull over, not flat tire. Oh, we're spinning now.
No, flat tire pull. But we were on the highway, so not good.
No.
Not good. Got a nice tow. Met a guy named Dave. He was cool.
All of us are.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kind of.
All right. So what was I up to this week?
You've got a girlfriend. We know.
You got a girlfriend. You got laid. We all know.
Oh my God.
That's not what I was, but okay.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not
wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, she had never saw The Founder. We watched that yesterday.
The Founder. Oh, the Ray Kroc movie, right?
With Michael Keaton. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's funny because we were out. She was hungry. We stopped at McDonald's and I got a milkshake, and I'm like, oh, this just always makes me think of The Founder. And she's like, The Founder. I'm like, you never saw The Founder?
That's funny. Like Ray Kroc was even mentioned in epic rap battles when they did Burger King versus McDonald's, because
that's a great story.
Yeah. And those people don't know Ray Kroc was like the person who basically stole McDonald's from the original.
Oh my God,
guys,
he's such a bastard.
The original owners, and then turned it into what it is today.
I don't know if they still do, but there was a McDonald's that was by my house when I was growing up, and they had like this plaque like one of those like 3D plaques where the face like pops out of him. All Ray Kroc in the restaurant, like singing his praises. It was very cultish, but nobody knew who Ray Kroc was. So everybody's like, oh, whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, but you know, praising Ray Kroc for your food, not the best not the best benediction of your food. Like,
well, it was McDonald's. I mean, like,
yeah.
I've eaten McDonald's once the last 20 years. I went like 15 years. I figured, I'm hungry. There's McDonald's. It's been a while. I'll try it. I got so sick the next day.
I can't eat McDonald's. The meat has gluten.
Mm.
The meat,
yeah, which is to say, it's not me.
Think about that.
Yep.
It means they mix flour, some kind of flour in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. To hold it together. Well, gluten it binds it together.
Yeah.
I keep looking different. I'm like, I look different. I shaved, guys. I got rid of the beard.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, it's been a while. You know, you could have been. Yeah, exactly. We don't know.
So, Dave, you saw the founder.
Did she like the founder?
She was shocked, basically. Because that's the thing. A lot of people don't know that story, like how he came in and these two. Now, granted, I have to imagine there's some creative license in that movie. Like, were the two founders of McDonald's really super nice guys like that who were just worried about the quality and consistency of the restaurant? And was Kroc really that much of an a-hole? I don't know.
I saw a documentary about the subject before I saw the founder, and it seemed like I think they play up the super nice guy aspect of it, because it seemed like the one brother was super interested in like the whole assembly line aspect of creating a burger. It was not the nice. It seemed like they were more human in the documentary portrayal, but they definitely got duped, and they also didn't have the long-term vision that Ray Kroc had. But Ray Kroc was in fact a bastard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So,
go ahead.
The idea of owning the land was brilliant, but evil, because it wasn't his restaurant.
Yes. What it is now, now the McDonald's Corporation is one of the most, expensive, vile companies in America. So, he's right there in the DNA.
Yeah. There's another movie like that called Flash of Genius about the guy who invented the intermittent windshield wiper. Never Kinnear played what is it? Robert Kearns. He got taken. He invented the windshield wiper, the intermittent part, and I forget which automaker it was. They stole it from him. They entered into agreement with them, got their hands on the prototype, then canceled their agreement with them, and then came out with their own. And it took, I think he fought it for something like 20 freaking years before he finally won in court against them.
The world of business is filled with so many stories like that. Just in our industry, John, and computer, like when computers were starting and software was being written, like people would write software to meet a need, like a spreadsheet program. But the guy who wrote the original spreadsheet program didn't think there was any money in it. And then, Lotus takes it, copyrights it, and like, oh, look, here's Lotus 1, 2, 3, but they didn't come up with it.
Much like Thomas Edison and a lot of his inventions, he would just leave them behind, like the outboard motor for a motorboat. He just left that behind. Somebody else got it and patented.
He didn't invent the light bulb. He created the filament, the way the filament's used today, but he didn't create the original light bulb.
One of the most famous of technology, the most famous patent crap is the buy it now button. Amazon owns the patent for a button that automatically buys something that you are looking at, and nobody else can use that.
Oh my God!
U.S. patents are bullshit. They're you can patent ideas.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes forget the implementation. It's just the idea of something. And like other countries, they don't allow that kind of crap, but America does, and it's stupid.
Samsung and Apple take each other to court like all the time.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, nobody, you literally could not come up with another social media platform right now, because Facebook and Instagram and WeChat and all these other platforms and Microsoft, they've patented literally every idea that basically you would use to build a social media platform. So you could come out with it, and the next day you would be buried in lawsuits for the next 50 years.
To be honest, do we need another social media platform? I think we have too many of those as it is.
But that's the thing. If somebody came up with something like Facebook, but like not evil
with horses. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like nobody can do that because of our patent system.
Well, John, thank you for bringing up social media platforms.
Oh God, no! Why did I do that? Oh man! Oh, I'm hanging my head in shame.
We have to do social media madness this week, and there isn't a lot. But so first off, this one ties into what we're talking about today. Of course, we had talked last week that Matt Reeves, before the movie came out, was already in talks not only to do a sequel, but to actually make a trilogy of movies from the Batman universe.
I mean, that's what they do, you know?
Yeah. And in response, our resident expert of the middle age, good old D Square, said, the Batman is not a very good movie unless it's the start of a trilogy or quadrilogy. Lots of aspects about the character and the world that went unexplained, in my opinion.
Wow. We will definitely discuss that take, my friend.
Random Randy Savage said, no, because we need to move forward with other properties and characters. Martian Manhunter, The Question, maybe try Constantine one more time. Full on horror for Constantine.
Yeah, that's what HBO Max is for.
Yeah.
Big chances on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's an article I didn't include, but we'll mention that when we get to the movie. And then finally, good old Timothy Jones said, I haven't seen it yet, but that would be cool. I agree with D Square that it will do better as a trilogy or even a quadrilogy. Not sure if that's a word, but I'm all for it. For in capital letters.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
The number.
I got unfollowed by Tim Jones on Twitter this week, and I had to beg, hey man, what's up with that? And he responded, he proceeded to refollow me on Twitter. So, you know, it's not that I have sour grapes or anything.
Oh, God.
Available finer newspapers across this great land, including, I believe he just told me a couple in Oklahoma.
Yes. Yeah. He just got picked up.
You unfollowing son of a bitch.
he's spreading. I mean, he's getting carried by a new newspaper almost every week.
Yes, he's doing actually. Cool. Jokes aside, he's actually doing a really great job as an independent syndicator, like really getting his stuff out there across the world. So, you know, kudos to our friend Tim.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we make virus jokes again? Can we do that? Is that not safe?
Is it too soon?
Is it too soon? It's been too
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. We should do a Twitter poll on that. Is it too soon for virus jokes? All right.
That's your Twitter poll right here. Oh, this is where Dave gets called out. Oh, let's do this one.
All right. So last week we talked about Babylon 5, the reboot, right? And there was a statement that was released by the CW that was put into an article that said they would continue on without Michael J. Straczynski. That's what the article said, and we talked about it last week on the show. Sorry, drank for dramatic effect. However, from the time we recorded that to the time that it was released and promoted on Twitter, apparently it looks like they got back together and talked, and now it's basically they pushed it back to 2023.
That's good. That means Straczynski is still involved, which is awesome.
Oh, so he's still involved.
So we tweeted it out, you know, because we tweet out the articles we talk about on the show to promote the episode. And Michael J. Straczynski himself, or J. Michael Straczynski, sorry. J. Michael Straczynski himself replied and said, except that's not what's happening, like at all. Check your sources. So I will say it's a source that we've used many times, and I just think it was a timing issue, in all honesty. We replied to the man, and I said that I apologize. We won't use that source again. We are actually big fans of your work. And
I mean, like,
other than
whatever
he wrote the other, right? So other than that,
he did write the other. He did write my college textbook though on screenwriting.
Yes. So, however, boy, are his fans bastards.
Yes. Please, Dave, don't go through all of these.
I am not. I am just going to say,
just let it go. And because, and they were like posting Ivanova, you don't cross Ivanova. So like from Babylon 5, like it's just, yeah.
So, I mean, they were saying that we were clickbait, and like, obviously these people have never listened to the show and
never will.
And I always try to use legitimate sources like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and so on and so forth. We do the best to try to say this is fact and this is rumor when we talk about stuff. Like, and you know, of course, when I'm promoting it, I tagged him in the post. It's the only reason he saw it. He probably would have never saw it if I didn't tag him.
I'm amazed he checks his mentions. Most of those blue checks never check their mentions.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm never going to hear from this guy. But yeah, I mean, people just saying like I said, clickbait and a whole bunch of stuff and stupid and whatnot.
But you got to admit, like every online celebrity has. They have such large followings. You're always going to get a few of those in. It doesn't look like we got that many. You know, I mean, and like
more than we normally get on a. We get more hate than love we get on some of our.
Yeah, I know, but it's you know, like I said, it's just there's always going to be a few that are going to get outraged at anything and tear into somebody. It's like
it's faux outrage too. It's not like we did anything that hurt him. It's not like you did anything that hurt them. Like, why get outraged?
And we do
so explain to me, JD, why does the internet get outraged?
That's what the internet's for, man.
Yeah,
that's what we do on the internet. We get mad at people we don't know.
And just to reply to one of these, I mean, like even podcasters should verify their facts.
We do. Just don't do it.
I mean, we're not. We're not. We got this covered, right? We're
right, exactly. And I'm not going to get into it with these people on here because that just makes us look bad.
Right.
Again,
I know
the man himself. Yes, we reported something that was not entirely accurate, and we apologized for it and move on.
This is the problem with interacting with people on Twitter. Is like, especially when you interact with famous people, is they get mad at someone for stupid reasons, and then all their little followers will come on like, yeah, you should have done that. You know what they're like? Remember those Warner Brothers cartoons with the big dog and the little hoppy dog? Hey, Spike, come on, Spike, yeah, we're gonna go do this. You know, yeah, that's what these are. That's what these little Stan accounts are. They're little yippy dogs. Yip, 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 yip. Yeah, you made J. Michael Straczynski angry. Yep.
Weren't they the ones where the guy would clock in and clock out?
No, that was the ones with the Wile E. Coyote clone who was the.
That's right.
Sam and Ralph.
That's right.
Spike, and I believe I can't remember what Spike's buddy's name with the little dog. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, that's what they are.
Yes. So we will do better in the future, people. And
nah. We just won't tag him next time.
Yeah,
no. I mean, no. Seriously though, it was just a timing issue. Like there were a lot of reports about what we reported. You know,
right.
It was just a matter of the day we were recording.
Which if you were here, you probably would have pointed out like, oh, this is probably a move to make him come and back to the table.
I probably would have said something like that, which clearly it worked. But this problem too is in the journalism, and not just in like entertainment journalism, but all kinds of journalism is such a race to be first. So oftentimes stuff does get reported that isn't verified. So it is possible that the source, was wrong. And then
they took
the news.
They took an actual statement from CW and went with that.
They did, which CW was probably forced in the hand, like I said, but that was the news at the time. And like I said, sometimes these places that are not us, because we're just reporting what's already out there. Like we aggregate, we don't break news. We try to start rumors all the time that never take off. So I mean, like, we've proven time and again that we're very not good at this sort of thing. Like, so we didn't do nothing. Well, blame the CW, but they won't do that.
Did you hear that John is in talks to play Robin in the next Batman movie?
Yeah, I'm so mad that I got nothing to vote Robin in. Williams, I got nothing. Yeah, nothing. Disappointed in this.
Well, on that note, boys and girls, if you want to know, you can follow us on social media. Be part of social media madness and not throw insults at us. You can check out friend D Squared to tell you more.
Or throw them. Who cares?
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at superheroespeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_ Geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for hashtag GWAllstars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thank you for that, Don. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast. Available on iTunes. Or not iTunes. Well, iTunes, but well, Apple Podcasts now. It's on iTunes.
Apple
anymore.
Podcasts, you're right. I forgot.
And YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. And on that note, we'll take our first commercial break and be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. Here we are back. I only gave us a couple news articles to talk about. The first one, I'm sure you have heard about already, JD, that it's related to the streaming wars. So all of the Netflix shows, the Marvel Netflix shows, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher, all of them are going on to Disney Plus, not Hulu, because now Disney Plus is going to have more parental controls thrown onto it for more adult content.
I already do. You can, because we have those locked on Andy's iPad. I said this was going to happen, so I'm going to take a victory lap. I said.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm excited I'm going to get to watch Daredevil again, because boy, that was a good show.
Yes. I think, in all honesty, I do think that it's being done on purpose because they want to fold them into the MCU. Because obviously we had Michael Cox in
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox. Yeah. Charlie Cox in No Way Home, and we had in the Hawkeye show. So
Michael J. Cox is a porn star.
Why do you, I'm not gonna ask.
I made it up. I'm sure he is, because why wouldn't there be a porn star named that? But I'm assuming.
I wouldn't know.
Me neither.
I don't know their names. I just watch their work.
See, I appreciate performance. I support the arts. No, I think this is good. I mean, we're folding this back in. I hope we can get Mike Coulter back in, because him as Luke Cage is my second. I don't know, one. I think Charlie's 1 and he's 1A. I really enjoyed both their performances. Yeah. And I'd like to see Kristen Ritter back as Jessica Jones.
I would like that too.
Yeah, she was good. So everyone was great, but Loris was
Danny
Baratheon. Yeah, he was Loris Baratheon, I think it was. Yeah, that guy.
Does this open the door to put the Deadpool movies on Disney Plus?
I do think it does, because they're going to want that. They're going to want to keep it all in one spot, to be honest with you. Especially things, because let's be honest, Disney's in their hierarchy. Disney Plus is up yonder, and Hulu is down lower, I guess. So you're going to want those Deadpool clicks on Disney Plus.
Right, exactly.
Are they ready to put a rated R thing on Disney Plus yet, though?
They're putting these things on, and they're PG-13-esque.
Well, there are some scenes in Jessica Jones that
I was about to say there's a wild sex scene between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Yes,
they got down with that unbreakable skin. Yes, so I think so. I think we'll get something R-rated on Disney Plus, because why not? As long as you can do the parental controls, which you can, because we have that set on my little guy's iPad right now, where why not? Plus, there's a lot of good Touchstone stuff and other outside Disney properties that have been made over the years that you want to keep all centrally hubbed.
Yeah.
I get mad that I have to pay for Boomerang and HBO Max when I should just have it all on HBO Max.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait. I want to watch Daredevil again. And
the Batman movie actually made me think a lot about the Daredevil TV show and made me really want to watch it again. I think there was a lot of influences there.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely. A lot of anger. All right.
Angry white men.
All right. Moving on.
Too harsh for an episode title. I'll leave it alone.
Moving on. Of course, we had been talking about the Quantum Leap reboot that we're all anxiously awaiting, right? And they have cast their lead. Raymond Lee has been cast as the lead in the Quantum Leap reboot pilot episode, and he is.
Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
Me neither.
Let's see. I'm sure this says in the article what he is.
So AMC's Kevin Can Go F Himself, which I heard is a funny show, but I've yet to watch it. HBO Here and Now, HBO Made for Love, Fox's Prodigal Son, Mozart in the Jungle, Scandal. I guess he's going to be in the new Top Gun movie, which I don't think is ever going to come out.
Oh God, I forgot that was made.
Me too. It was supposed to come out in 2020, and then we all forgot about it because
They're too busy changing everything so China doesn't get mad at them.
Yeah, just
it's a different world, man. It's a different world now. Can't even make those jokes. I don't know. I'm interested. Did you see that? I don't think it was in this one, but I think it was in Bleeding Cool. They said they found a twist for this new Quantum Leap show, where they said he's not gonna remember who he is. He's gonna have amnesia. To which I said, Sam Beckett had amnesia.
Yeah, Swiss cheese brain. That was they were always saying that.
Correct. So apparently the twist on Quantum Leap is going to be the exact same.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they're calling him the spiritual successor to Sam Beckett.
He's trying to figure out what happened to Sam. He's kind of following in Dr. Beckett's. Yeah, this Deadline article didn't go as much detail as the Bleeding Cool one did, but he's gonna basically retrace Sam's steps. They're trying to work with Scott Bakula on coming back. Humble opinion, Scott Bakula could be the Al of this show, but I don't know if they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
because he can't have Al.
By the way, Top Gun Maverick, May 27th of this year is the current release date.
We'll see. We're all excited for that. Excited.
No.
Wait, are we talking about Quantum Leap or Maverick?
Quantum Leap, I'd be interested to see. Yeah.
I will watch Quantum Leap. I'll put $5. It's Peacock, right? It's going to go back to Peacock.
Yeah.
I'll put $5 on Peacock just to see, because I'll deal with ads. I'm cheap.
I know you put $5 on Cox all the time, so it's no big deal.
Constantly. I can hold up my own. I can hold up one with my own.
We're hurting John this week.
I love Breaking John. I wish this should be a video podcast just for John. John has Looney Tunes-esque wild takes based on the inappropriate things that Dave and I will say on occasion.
Breaking John.
Ooh, now we go. Episode title.
That can play right after Killing Eve.
So okay. So we're all on board. We all want to see the pilot if we ever get to see it.
It's worth it. It's worth 2 episodes or so.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 episodes. Yeah.
Again, I will point out, as we always say, just because we're making a pilot doesn't mean we're going to get a series.
So true.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Oh, it's raining here now.
Yep. We have storms going.
Pretty hard.
Hallelujah! It's raining here.
We have storms coming through, so I was watching for losing power just before you came on.
We had them last night. My house was shaking, so hopefully it's not as bad as what you guys did.
Wow.
Or hopefully your guys isn't as bad as what we had. So that's what I meant.
Well, I mean, it's pretty loud out there, so I have to imagine it's coming down pretty hard.
It was pretty loud. And like I said, the house was shaking, and the new dog was like, "What's going on?" He was perplexed.
Anyway, so moving on, our last article ties into the main topic of the week. Did you know that there was a cut scene in The Batman?
No, I just watched the first one.
I did, but I read our show notes.
I did not read the show notes because I had not seen the movie.
Who's the actor he played in Eternals?
Barry Keoghan? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's his name. He's in that end scene of the movie, right?
He's clearly the Joker.
Yeah, Barry Keoghan. Yes. Now you say he's clearly the Joker. People I was with at the movie, I'm trying to remember which one it was. Oh, it was my girlfriend, not my son, said she thought he could have been Two-Face because it looked like his face was messed up.
But the Joker has a messed up face.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's actually a more newer thing.
Newer as in 1989.
Yes.
Been a while.
Not classic Joker.
He's laughing and he's making cracks about clowns. I mean,
yeah. So apparently the cut scene was Batman's trying to get inside the mindset of the Riddler. So he goes to Arkham and talks to the Joker.
Oh, they did that's like Manhunter, or my favorite movie, Red Dragon. That's that's the character of Will Graham goes to talk to Hannibal Lecter to get inside the head of the Red Dragon. So,
right, which so in the description, it's basically they're saying that would have made it very obvious that he was the Joker, right? It wouldn't have been any ambiguity because you would have seen him basically in the scene, I guess.
There was no ambiguity to the one they gave us.
But that made me wonder. So, Did they cut the scene because what if they want to go a different direction with the Joker?
It's possible. I wondered that too. Not showing him, you could always recast him.
Yes.
Right? You could. So, but it seems like they committed pretty hard. And that, to be honest, I don't like the scene. It's one of the few scenes in the movie I didn't like, mainly because I felt like, do we need to go to this well again so soon?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Maybe that's why they're iffy about it.
That's true. That's a good point, Jen. That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, yeah, we'll get into it in, let's see. Do we want to take another commercial break? Now, we weren't going long enough for another commercial break. So let's just get into the main topic then, since we're already there.
Dogs. Oh.
No, the Batman.
Oh, I saw that.
Starring a sparkly vampire. No. So
Robert Pattinson and his very large jaw.
Pattinson.
So
Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, the Batman 2022. Let's get into this. So let's first, before we talk about our opinions on the movie, let's state some facts about this movie. Domestic box office 120.
It is a Batman.
Domestic box office 128.5, the international 120, so 248.5 million opening weekend. Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter is 85% from the critics, and the audience score is 89%.
Pretty good.
That is pretty good. That is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And then finally, we pulled our audience. What did you think of the Batman? Results discussed this week on Superhero Speak. And I was being generous. I gave 4 options because people have complained about the choices I've given before. The first one was best Batman movie ever. The second option was at least top 5. Then it was blah, and then worst Batman ever.
I find it funny that you can say top 5 and they're like, there's way more than 5 Batman movies now.
There are, but I mean, like, there's also some bad Batman movies.
Some very bad Batman movies. We talked about one not long ago on this show.
Yeah, it's just that there's so many now. You know, being the voice of Batman used to be.
That's why I said top 5, where it's like, oh, this was a good movie, but I still like The Dark Knight better. Let's say. So the top response was at least top 5 at 43.2%. The second one was best Batman ever at 35.1%. It was blah, got 13.5%, and worst Batman ever got 8.1% of the results.
It's like 70% positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And the only comment we got was from our good friend Random Randy Savage. Okay, so we are done with dark and gritty Batman movies for like 6 years. Only Greatest Detective, Occult Wizard, or Charming Dick Smashing Reporters Batman.
What? Charming Dick Smasher Reporters? What is that? I don't.
Charming Dick Smashing Reporters.
Vicky Vale.
Oh, he smashed her with his dick.
Yes.
The kid lingo, it's like loses me. I'm old.
Yeah.
We're not kids anymore. All right. So now we heard what other people think of the movie. We can talk about it. Let's go around non-spoiler first. We don't want to ruin it right away for anyone. Initial thoughts. I feel like we need to start with John because he looks pensive.
I have no idea why 43% of people put it in top 5. It should have been the best.
Oh, okay.
There's no, I mean, like, there were several points in the movie that I explicitly remember thinking, holy shit, this is my Batman movie. Like, this is the one I've been waiting for. Like, and I thought,
my friend, hell of a poker.
Yeah. No, it's like, even going back to, like, if you compare this one with Nolan's looks like, you know, almost like the 1960s Batman looks to Nolan's, right? It's, I mean, it's not as much of a jump, but it's still like, there's a jump there. That
I want to say, in comparison, and this might be a hot take for some people, after watching this movie, the Batman Begins feels like a movie that was made by someone who's a filmmaker who thought the character of Batman was interesting and decided to make a Batman movie. the Batman feels like it was a filmmaker who was a fan of the comic books.
He must have been.
Said, let's make a Batman movie.
There are so many Easter eggs in this, and for stuff that's incredibly obscure, that only it had to be like a Batman fan who made it, a Batman fan who wrote it, a Batman, it just like everybody on this. And it's, if you go back to I rewatched the Nolan films, the first two, this past weekend. And the end of the first, was it Batman Begins? The end of that makes no sense, right? Like, it's just, there was no, the plot wasn't very good.
With the microwave emitter?
Well, yeah, I mean, it does, but it's like Batman wasn't a detective. It was just action scene. The character of Ra's al Ghul is not what he's supposed to be, really. I mean, it's just, and the whole thing of, we must destroy this city. It's like, I don't know. It just seemed a little bit too much, too caricatured. But this one was, you can follow this. This almost felt like a detective story, and the detective just happened to be Batman. I mean, there's with a little bit of extra Batman on the top.
What's
so there you go.
All right, JD, since you just saw it, what's your initial non-spoiler reaction?
So I'm trying not to be like super recency bias, because I mean, I'm literally, this is like the freshest take. I finished it like an hour ago. So I want to see The Dark Knight again. I haven't seen it in a few years, and I remember really liking it. I love The Dark Knight. Dark Knight's literally one of my favorite movies, but I haven't seen it in a couple years. So I want to revisit that with some, older eyes. But my initial instinct on walking out was that this is the best Batman movie ever. Like, I was surprised by that too, is because like I didn't love the marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't like, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the trailer, but it didn't like grab me. I thought I was going to have big time issues with this interpretation of the Riddler, like Riddler by way of Zodiac, which they didn't even steer away from. They just steered right into it. Like, they were like, yes, he's the Zodiac killer. And you're oh, okay.
The cards and the ciphers are taken directly from the Zodiac killer.
Even the mask is basically like those old Zodiac renderings. Like, they made, which I was good with. And I agree with you. This is the most detective Batman ever that we've seen on screen, right? Like, it's been alluded to, but there's several scenes of him figuring stuff out or figuring things out on the fly, and then him and Alfred like working through something.
Yeah,
they work through a lot of things in this movie. I really, really liked it. I liked it. I want to see it again, but it's so long. So I mean, like, getting another 3-hour chunk is going to be tricky.
Yeah,
but it was. I agree. Like, this is the movie that comic book fans have been waiting for, which is odd because like going in, I felt like this was going to be the least comic book Batman, and I was wrong. Like, it owes itself a lot to the entirety of the Batman run, in my opinion.
You got parts of the Long Halloween, parts of the Court of Owls, parts of,
Hush,
but No Man's Land.
Yep.
But,
okay,
spoilers.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I after I posted the night after I saw the movie, like, this is the most comic accurate Batman that I've seen so far. And somebody responded like, what version? And it's like, no, there are core things about Batman that they've missed in every movie. And they even make a point of saying his code is he doesn't use guns. This is the first Batman on the big screen did not use a gun once in this entire movie.
And even tells Gordon not to.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Man, he does use a gun. He used it like a baseball bat.
Yes.
That's true.
Swinging it.
And the final,
at the end, I'll keep. But that was that was like, yes, that is how Batman would use a gun. He would bludgeon you with it.
Yeah. I mean, I actually I kept checking, like, did Jeff Loeb write this movie? Like, okay, no, he didn't. It just felt like they borrowed a lot from
the end
stuff.
made sense. So that's how I know Jeff Loeb wasn't there.
All right. Nice. So his concepts, but he didn't write the ending.
There's a lot of him. There's a lot of Frank Miller. There's Rogers. Like, that's what's like, I think you're right. I think there's enough. This was a guy who just really liked Batman who wrote this. And it's, like any good Batman writer, pick and choose.
And you know what? It might be, I could be wrong on this, and we'll get into this in a minute. I also kind of feel like it's the first Batman movie where there's character growth in Batman. And
I was going to talk about that when we got into spoilers. I agree with you 100%.
We can talk about the fight scenes too.
All right. So on that note, boys and girls, we are now going to get into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I can't believe you're listening to this podcast.
What are you doing? Listen to the show. Go watch the movie, man.
Yeah.
So stop here, come back later, and listen. If you don't care about spoilers, all right, here we go. Yes, Heath Ledger. Little Heath Ledger to get this going. All right, how do we want to do this? So let's start off with the characterization of Bruce Wayne / Batman in this movie. He definitely starts off this film as the angry young man, the angry young crime fighter. The scene that was in the previews, he beats the guy up, that goes, "Who are you?" And he beats the crap out of the guy and goes, "I'm vengeance," and then hits him like 3 more times. Like,
which in the movie, this is one of the things I was talking about the trailer that I was like, like it came off so angry white man, you know. But then you're like, oh, it's supposed.
Yes.
Like it's saying something. So I was like, I appreciated that so much. Because again, that is Batman, where I will never kill someone, but I will maim that mother to death.
Wait a minute. I skipped over the most important thing. This is the first Batman movie that's a noir that has 100%. Voiceovers by Batman. It's like, oh, there you go. I am now watching an actual Batman movie.
It's true. I mean, this movie is a sleek noir thriller, right? Where it's constantly raining, which I love, by the way, until the very end of the movie. It's constantly raining until and then it's like all these shadows. But it's different. It looks and feels different than the Nolan movies, right? Like the Nolan movies tried to do this gritty, grim realism, which this movie does too, but it's in its own way. And in a way, this Batman feels more realistic.
The city feels more realistic.
The city feels very real. Like
the city feels like it's lived in, not like it's just a set piece.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's things about this that I really enjoy about the Batman. I like that. When I first saw Batman just walking around with people, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that." By the end of it, it made complete sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that happens in the comics.
It does. But it's something that I was like, I don't think it could ever, and no one's ever really had the guts to do it in a way that wasn't campy.
One of the things I felt was a streak of brilliance, and this was pointed out to me by my girlfriend, was that him riding around on the motorcycle with the helmet on to get from spot to spot and then putting the costume on, like, that makes sense because it's year 2, guy driving around in a big Batmobile. They're going to know where, they're going to be like, there he is,
Especially that Batmobile.
Oh my God, it was a cool Batmobile.
That was the most epic introduction of a vehicle I have ever seen. Like putting aside like Kit from Knight Rider or something, like just that. The thing I love about this director is that he knows how to use silence. He didn't have to do anything. He just had to sit there and watch the car like rev while fire comes out from under the hood. It's like, it was perfect, and badass.
It was great. 2 thoughts. One, is this the first legit car chase we've gotten in a Bat movie?
Yeah, because the other car chases were just
like a bullet style car chase, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, there's a Batman and Robin. There is an ill-advised, there's an ill-placed car chase in one scene with Two-Face that just it feels out of place too. Like all of a sudden they're in a car chase. It just didn't.
You did have the car chase in was Batman? Wasn't in Batman Begins? Was
Dark Knight. Dark Knight. We have but it's trucks, right? It's that big tank tumbler and the semi truck. It's not really 2 cars racing for speed.
Yes.
True.
It felt like this, just like this, because this Batmobile's it's a muscle car, right?
Yeah.
So this one
it's with a jet engine.
Muscle car with a jet engine. Correct. That is a fair terminology. I just like that we got like a car chase sequence, right? And it was good too.
Speaking of gadgets, because and it's funny, this is one of the things I love too. One of the things I hated about the Nolan movies, there was too much emphasis on the gadgets and how he got the gadgets and very Bondy. Yes. The Nolan movies, in comparison, when you look at it now, it's like he was trying to do a James Bond movie.
I think that Nolan likes Bond movies. I think that's in his DNA as a filmmaker.
One of the things I loved was, and it's something that was taken from I can't remember seeing this in the comics, taken from the Arkham game, is the electrified gloves when he punches.
Love that.
Yeah, because that's in the Arkham games, and I'm like, it feels like this guy it consumed everything he could to put this movie together.
None of the gadgets were over the top either.
No,
I mean, they were
no.
just
Well, the context, the recording context were a little over the top.
well. Okay, so that was the only thing in the movie that was like, and that was like a little bit future tech-ish,
I like
but
it.
everything else.
It felt Batman. It felt Batman to me.
Oh yeah, and that's what Batman would do, because I mean, in most of the comics now, he's got the heads up display, and the visor down over his eyes. So,
but you can't do it in a movie, because we've seen that before, and you do that, and it takes away the humanity of an actor. So you need their eyes. So I like that. I like that they kept that. You talked about the sound, with the car. The sound design through the whole movie was really cool. Like from the way the music was used to the way the elevated train was like they were using it as a foreboding sense of doom in a lot of parts, to the Ave Maria coming back multiple times.
In D minor or something. It's like,
I don't know enough about music to say that, but like they would use it, the singing, or they would use it like part of the score too, was that little hook from Ave Maria. Like, I thought that was pretty ingenious. Like, I want to talk to my brother about it, 'cause that's what he does for a living, the sound. I want to get his thoughts on what he thought about the sound design and the score, because I thought that did a great job balancing together. I was really impressed.
Well, the whole movie was planned out too, because like one of the really early scenes in front of the club, they do a shot of the front of the club as I forget who was coming out at that point. I think it was Batman and Selena or something like that. But you're looking at the shot, and if you're quick enough, in the top left corner, they're showing the motel across the street, and one of the windows is open and the lights are on, and there's Joker. I mean Riddler. There's Riddler. And like really early in the movie, they were showing that the Riddler was watching the whole thing the whole time. That's how he was getting the pictures of all these different people that he was going after, because they were coming right.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just
like,
brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, like this whole movie was made by somebody who really cared about detail.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing about, again, sound design, when he goes back to towards the end, when he goes back to the Riddlers to figure out what he missed, and he's looking around, and the cop gets up and he's like, "Wait, you can't touch that!" And Batman just turns and looks at him, and the guy's like, "Well, okay." It's like, that's perfect. Batman wouldn't have to say anything, because and I swear, I don't know if it's the first time that it happened, but that happened in Bruce Timm's Batman, where Batman broke into the bedroom of Marconi, I think it was, and one of the guards comes in because he thinks he heard something. He looks in, and there's Batman, and he just glares at him, and the guy backs up, closes the door. One of the other guards walks through the hallway. Goes, "Did you see anything?" He's like, "No, I didn't see anything."
That's goes back to the whole voiceover in the noir is needed, because in the comics and in a lot of, even in the animated series and Batman, when he's in Batman mode, is a person of very few words and not wasted words. Like, he goes to talk to Gotham. He goes to talk to Gordon. He gets the information he needs and whatever, and then Gordon turns around and he's gone. Like, that's who Batman is. He doesn't waste a lot of time talking. And that's part of building fear, like, as he uses it as a weapon.
Even when he's not Batman, the only reason he went to that funeral was he was there. He didn't have the costume on, but he was there as Batman.
It's a reconnaissance mission, and you're learning so much about character. And then when I forget who said, but someone's like, "Oh, there's not a lot of character stuff." I'm like, "No way, man! This movie is nothing but character."
Even the car had a character.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this whole thing is about, what I love about this movie is this whole thing is really Bruce coming to terms with what he.
Yeah, it's year 2.
Yes.
And what I love the most about this, and I actually got a little misty at the end, was when the Riddler clone says, "I am vengeance," and Batman hears that, and he's like, it hits him. He's like, "I'm wrong."
You saw the lights go on. Yeah,
it is. And then at the end, when he goes, "I can't do that," like the note through the voiceover, and there's a lot of writers that will tell you voiceover is bad, because you should be able to convey everything and what's going on. But then again, noir has this tradition of voiceover, has this tradition of narration. So you steer into that because it fits the character, right? And when Batman says, "I can't do this, I have to be more," and he's saying this as the sun is coming up, he's like, I have to project hope. And I'm like, oh my God, 30 years, and no one has done that with Batman. Like
Yep.
no one has taken Batman to a spot where he's like, I have to be better. It's
Yes.
never happened before.
So like, it's funny because a lot of people complained about, oh, the ending's too long, right?
It's long.
It's long, but like
I liked it.
the whole scene in the what do they call it? Gotham Gardens, the
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. Like the whole point of that scene is his growth to it's him realizing, like, yes, he goes around one of the best fight scenes for Batman ever.
It's
him
like
fighting
like I
the
said,
goons.
it was very much like that Daredevil hallway sequence.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what I meant, yeah.
Fighting all the goons, the Riddler goons.
I think it was the director or one of the cameramen did, what's that Star Wars movie, the one that happens just before A New Hope?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. He did Rogue One. He's the guy who did that scene with Batman walking through the hallway, beating up the guys. Is the same one who did the Darth Vader one.
Yeah.
But the whole point of that scene, which, you know, is the end when he gets on he sees the cable, it's going to electrocute people. He nearly sacrifices himself to save the people. Like, I have to not just be vengeance and go after the bad guys. I also have to save people. That's his realization in the movie.
Yes. And this is what's great, is because it's easy to do Batman vigilante. And that's all anybody ever wants to do is Batman vigilante. Batman hero, superhero is much harder to do. And they made it work here. They used character growth. They did it a bunch too, where he's like, Alfred, you're not my father. And there's like, you feel this like detachment between them. But then when he almost kills him, he's like, it's like, yeah, you are my father, you know?
Yes.
And him realizing that his father was human, right, is a hard thing. Because any kid, I'm going through this a little bit with my own kid now, because, like, you know, he's so young, you know, he thinks his parents are perfect and all that. And, you know, it's a sad day when you learn your parents are mortal. And Bruce never really has that moment until he's 30 here. So
right, exactly, because
him dealing with
your parents die at 10, you still have that image for the rest of your life of them,
which is a big part of Batman.
Yeah.
Right. That scene in Mask of the Phantasm. He's banging on the tombstone going, what do you want me to do? You know?
Yep.
Right. And it was so well done here without being over dramatic or overplayed. Right. I thought Pattinson as Batman, he does a really good reserved performance.
I take everything back that I said. I thought he was going to play this whiny CW Batman, you know, all angsty and everything. And to a point that's true, but it was done the right way.
They got us somewhere, right? Like he is this angsty, brooding Batman, but I just love the moment where he's like, I gotta be more.
But he's introspective.
Yes.
He's introspective and that's not something you see in the CW.
Because you don't see that. You don't see growth from Batman in these movies, right? And that's the thing we always talk about in these Batman movies. The movie happens around Batman, right? It doesn't happen through Batman. That wasn't the case here.
This is a Batman movie. This isn't a Joker movie where Batman happens to be there.
Right.
Yes. This is a Batman movie, like, through and through. I mean, so much so that they used a villain that, like, he doesn't interact with until the end of the movie. The main villain, he doesn't see face to face till the end of the movie. Because it's not about Riddler. It's about Batman.
And he threatens to reveal his secret identity. And Batman's almost like, I don't care anymore. You know, like there's people that have to be saved. It doesn't matter if people know who he doesn't care. Right. And again, no one's going to listen to the Riddler because he's freaking crazy. But I mean, like, it's so well done. I like how he roots out the corruption. I love the sequence with him and Gordon in the jail, you know, where Gordon and Jeffrey Wright's a great Gordon.
That was going to say that was my next question. What do we think of Jeffrey Wright as Gordon?
He was good.
Great. He might be my favorite. He has so much more to do than even Gary Oldman. And Gary Oldman played an important role into the first two Dark Knight movies. I like Gary Oldman a lot, but I really liked this one. Right. I liked watching the elevation of Jim Gordon. I liked him and Batman working together from jump. Right. Like,
which is what they would do. Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing too. Like, they took it a step further than all movies. Like, they talked about Gordon finding cops and people he knew he could trust and blah blah. Where, like, this was like, no, they don't trust. They only trust each other at this point
until the very end when Falcone steps out, and you see that there are still good cops left.
Yes,
you know, and I think it was nice. It was nice to see that. You know, I liked that this cynical world hadn't broken every right. I thought he was great. I really and I like the chemistry between him and Robert Pattinson. I thought they were really good. Like he had a Batman voice, but it wasn't like Christian Bale's garbling.
Right. No, it was like the whispering voice, like Keaton.
It was good. Okay, Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
she was great.
Yeah, another again talking about the chemistry between the two of them. It was perfect.
She's my favorite Selena film depiction of Selena Kyle. I think they nailed it. I think they nailed her because like the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman is fun, but she's not Selena Kyle.
No, not Selena Kyle from the
and even the
Anne
Hathaway one was fine, but I never felt like that was the Selena from the comics.
Right. Yeah.
You know, this felt like Selena, like the relationship. I think they got the intricacies and the ups and the downs of Batman and Catwoman. You know, like I felt that in this movie more so than any movie I think we've had.
So, what about Halle Berry's Catwoman?
She's pretty in the costume.
Bite your tongue. Though I will say, I did like in the depiction when they do it where Selena and Bruce are dating and they don't know that they're Catwoman and Batman.
Yeah, that's a fun scene, but that worked better in that movie. You know, like that had to work in.
Well, I mean, she doesn't know he's Batman, but they're not dating as Bruce and Selena. No, well, but he knows who she is.
The other thing is, neither one of them are that stupid. They would have immediately figured out who the other was, especially having to leave at the same time. I mean,
yeah, but there's but it makes for a good moment in that particular movie. But this movie has like we talked about the term verisimilitude from the first Superman movie, trying to make it feel real. This movie felt like it felt real in a lot of spots, but didn't feel like I was being like the wool was being pulled over my eyes. At least I think I had recency bias. I have to go back and look at it again. But with their relationship in particular, it made sense to me. Like I liked it. I like that they kept it. I like that they brought in the idea that Selena was Falcone's daughter. Like I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Incorporation. I don't think that's been done.
I saw as soon as like everything that was going on. Yeah, it's like as soon as he looked at her, I'm like, okay, the Long Halloween, she's his daughter. Yeah, like that.
John Turturro as Falcone too. Fantastic.
Oh my God, the best casting. You know what's funny? Because the only thing I know I've seen him in other things, but the only thing that ever sticks out in my mind is when he was on Monk, because he played Monk's brother. Did you ever watch the show?
Right, Monk.
And he was crazier than Monk was the whole point. Like he wouldn't leave the house or anything and whatnot. And he'd collect newspapers and there were stacks of newspapers all through the house and whatnot. And like, he's so good in that. Like you get lost. You think that's how the guy really is. And then you see him, like, he's such a good actor. He really is.
You want to talk acting? What about Colin Farrell?
Oh, he's great. He was great as the Penguin. He's unrecognizable. If you had not put Colin Farrell's name on that, I would have no idea who it was. Yep. And like, he's a guy who got famous too quick before he was really ready for it. And I like this reinvention of him as a character actor.
Yeah.
You know, where that's what he's been doing lately. He's just been playing characters. And I think that's a better use of his talent. I thought he was really, really good here. Right.
he was amazing. Yeah.
I love the car chase sequence. Again, when they released it, I didn't love it. But in the context of the movie, I got you. Like his scream is fantastic. And that sequence is awesome where the Batmobile races through the fire. Oh,
all right.
Again, the Batmobile, another one of the best characters of the movie.
Yes.
All right. I have to take this moment to mention one of the things I didn't like in the movie. Like the first time he does it, okay. Every time after that was like, oh, come on. The Batman walk.
Oh, I dug it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no. I mean, the first time when it
felt like overkill after a while to me.
Yeah, all the criminals are looking into the shadow, wondering. Yeah, like the guy's paint can rolls into the dark,
and I get that, and that was him being intimidating. No, I'm not
going in there.
I get that. That's being him intimidating and slowly walking out to the criminal to like, and it was a cool introduction of Batman in the movie. But then, like, he's at the mayor's house, and he's like walking slowly through the scene, and then there's an explosion behind him, and the Penguin is not unconscious or dead in a car upside down, and he walks out slowly. Like the Penguin could have gotten out and shot him.
I can't wait to get out of that car, man. I liked it because it was a cowboy scene. right? Like in the old cowboy movies, they'd walk and
Yeah.
you'd hear the sound of the spurs, and it was the impending doom. And that's what it is. It's almost like RoboCop, right? The way the feet were sounding when they were hitting the ground.
Well,
And I love that. I absolutely loved it. It was like Jaws. Like it's the anticipation that something bad is coming, or the water in Jurassic Park. It had that feel to it. Like it was the foreboding doom. But I get if you didn't like it. I thought it was well done.
It's another tool of terror. I mean, like what he's saying is you can try to run.
Can't go.
I don't have to run after you because
Michael
I'm going to catch
Myers.
you.
Yes.
Right? And just the fact that he's not showing like any urgency to get to them because he knows he's got them, that's going to terrify somebody into paralysis.
Michael Myers, man, that's the whole concept of Michael Myers. Yeah. I thought it was the shape. That's a better way to say it. Yeah, it was so well done. Like there's so much going on in this movie, which I get if it's a critique. It's a big movie. It's like it's almost 3 hours. There's a lot happening, but I don't think it's boring. Like I think it balances its story really well.
I didn't have any problem with the time. Like I at no point did I actually look down at my phone to.
I did because I had to get home in time to do the show.
Yeah, but that's
so okay. So we haven't talked about the main villain of the movie, Paul, the Riddler, played by Paul Dano.
Brilliant.
So it's funny because this is again, like as obviously I was talking. That's who I saw it with my son and my girlfriend, and she was like, I like the fact that he wasn't like an over the top in any way. He was just a nerdy guy. Like anyone could do what he did, basically. And, which made it more realistic villain. But like he did something a lot of actors don't want to do. I mean, at the end of the movie, he doesn't have a mask on, but for the majority of the movie, you don't see his face.
Yep.
And actors are afraid to do that a lot of times. And I applaud him for that too.
Even his eyes are obscured by those glasses that he has on. Like it's a very gutsy, very, very gutsy choice.
And then when they capture him in the coffee house, which was one of the first scenes they showed in the
trailers.
In the trailers, they don't show him in the trailer, but they show the coffee cup with the question mark on it, which I think was like looking back on it, that was kind of a gutsy move in the trailer because I thought that was something else entirely. Like that wasn't the scene where they're capturing him. And God, I thought he was crazy. Like he's so good, when they got him and just the way he was, the looks on his face, he's looking at Batman and the way he was talking, like, yeah, like this is good. Like,
oh yeah. Not just like a murderer, but he was like a stalker as well. He's stalking Batman. I mean, like,
yeah,
in his mind, they had been working together the whole time. And it's, there's a level of crazy that touches you at kind of like an animal instinct level. That's like, oh no, I don't want to be anywhere near this,
Are you sitting perfectly still, JD, or did we lose you?
No, I'm sitting perfectly still.
Oh God, that's creepy. That's almost as creepy as the Riddler.
I'll move. Make you feel better. I just listen. No, I gotta watch it again because I'm still. It was good. It was
digesting it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's such a drastic departure from what the Riddler character is. But I think also the Riddler character is one that is hard to get right because he's such a superfluous character. Like he's not.
So they've tried reinventing him so many times in the comics,
and it never sticks. And I'm not sure. Like I said, I was really not sold on the idea of Riddler by way of the Zodiac Killer. But in the context of this movie, I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
So I want to watch it again, and I want to cook on it a little bit. I don't know if I enjoyed Paul Dano's performance out of the suit, to be honest with you. The scene with Batman was fine. It reminded me a lot of The Dark Knight when him and the Joker.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of that, but I thought it was pretty well done. I did not, like I said before, I didn't like the Joker sequence all that much, but I got to see it again. Like I said, I got some recency bias going on, and I want to watch it one more time. But I really liked almost all the performances in this movie. I really did.
And then, of course, the last person we haven't talked about is Andy Serkis. As Alfred.
Doesn't have a lot to do, but when he's on screen, he does it well. I like that they kind of went with the Earth One interpretation of Alfred being kind of special forces guy. He even talks about, he's like, I just knew how to fight. So I think you get the hunch. You get the hunch that Alfred probably at least started Bruce's training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I this is a new interpretation of Alfred as a character but it's one that I think works. You know,
And he had chemistry with I mean, it worked. They worked together. Like it was better. They had more chemistry than they've had in the last few movies. You know?
Andy Serkis is really good though. Like you got to remember, this is the guy who played Gollum. Like, you know, he's really good at getting performances that oftentimes his performances get lost behind CGI, and we forget how good of an actor he really is. And he's got experience work with Matt Reeves from the Apes movie.
Right. And that's one of the things too with this movie. Again, like he doesn't have a lot to do. He's in a handful of scenes, but everything he does is important to the story,
yes,
to the character of Batman, and it just works. Like it's saying so much with so little, like, which is weird because it's a 3-hour movie, but like the impactful things are all sprinkled throughout. So yeah, it was just really well done. So of course, the major spoiler we started talking about already, they end the movie setting up the sequel.
Well, it seems like that, and then they seem to be denying it. It's kind of weird.
Denying what?
That they're going to bring the Joker in. I mean,
I'm not talking about the Joker. I'm talking about No Man's Land. The idea that like Gotham that's a story from the comic books. Gotham gets destroyed. It creates these pockets of bands that like basically the city becomes abandoned, and all it's left is a criminal element, and like different sections are run by different. One section's Joker, one section's Riddler, one section's Penguin in the comics, right?
And you see one of those shots is Penguin looking over the flooded city. Like, right. This is because there's nobody to stop him now.
Do you remember who actually brings Gotham back from No Man's Land in the comics?
No.
Superman?
Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor pays to fix it.
Oh.
It as the springboard to his presidential campaign.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't think they're going to do that. But I mean, like, it's interesting to leave it in that spot because I was like, they're going to flood the city? Where do we go from here? And you leave it and you're like, well, where do we go from here? And I'm like, what a great thing to leave it on.
It's a ballsy move. It was a ballsy move to end the movie that way. Yeah. But
yeah, man. It was, I'll be honest, I think the marketing campaign for this movie was terrible because it did not make me as excited for this movie as I should have been.
Yeah.
Right? Even the bizarre use of Nirvana worked in the context of the movie.
But I also kind of think it's funny. I think part of the problem is, a lot of people weren't sure about Robert Pattinson. A lot of people weren't sure about the portrayal of Riddler. And also, like Batman again, like people weren't really ready for Batman again. And you're going in expecting something along the lines of Ben Affleck or Nolan's interpretation. And we got something fresh and new and closer to the comics than we've ever gotten. Yeah.
Closer to the character. Yeah.
What I like too is when he did make a public appearance, people like Bruce Wayne, like they all knew who he was right away.
Yes.
He still had a little bit of that, but he didn't play off the Playboy element, which I don't know, who knows, may come in the future. He's still getting comfortable in his skin as Batman in this.
Well, there was that one comment by not Maroney, the other guy.
Falcone.
Yeah, Falcone. He's like, oh, it's the only guy in Gotham who's more reclusive than I am. So he's like, he's been concentrating on being Batman. He hasn't done anything as Bruce Wayne. I mean, they even had the thing where he wouldn't meet with the accountants. So like the Playboy thing maybe comes later as he gets more accustomed to what he's trying to do and needs that cover more because he starts to care more about it.
I think that's the whole character growth. That's part of his realization at the end is like, I can do so much as Batman and fighting villains, but I can probably also use my resources to do other things to help the city.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I think there'll be a lot of that. Probably there'll be a rebuild project or something that he starts to bring Gotham back. Yeah, it was such a good movie. It really was.
There's so many places you can go with it. Here's a controversial take. What you guys think of them making Martha Wayne an Arkham?
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know that it. Didn't upset me.
She wasn't Arkham, or she was in Arkham.
She was in Arkham. She was an Arkham.
She was an Arkham who was also in Arkham, as they kind of allude to.
She was the heiress to the Arkhams, and she married.
I missed that part.
To the Waynes.
I missed that part.
they said she was in Arkham, and then that they had her in and out of asylums of her own when she was dealing with her own baggage. So part of me kind of, okay, so I had this crazy theory. It's like, oh, so now we have a little nature nurture thing in Bruce, right?
Yeah.
It's like we have why would this like person put on a bat suit and fight people and beat criminals up? Well, because he comes from crazy.
Right.
I think
she went crazy because her parents, what is it? Her father committed a murder suicide.
That's not from the comics. That's something that they came up with.
Yeah.
I don't think I hate it.
Could it also be?
I don't either.
Could it be a slight nod to Flashpoint?
Maybe it's possible.
To where she was the Joker?
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit.
Maybe because it also kind of makes sense a little bit too. If when we're to go to the Flashpoint world, right? If these were to be like the person with that type of a background who also loses their child could, sure, yeah, I can see that.
But again, that plot point makes everything work because again, the reason why the fund got drained was because Bruce's father got into it with Falcone to try and protect his family, and Falcone, of course, took it to the absolute end in order to have a hook into the Waynes. Mm-hmm. And they also left it. They still left it completely up to us to decide: was it Falcone that took out the parents? Did he know that Bruce Wayne's father was going to the cops?
Or was it just Joe Chill?
Or was it Joe Chill? Or, and is Joe Chill Joker, like completely up.
They left it open. I like that because even Alfred's like, I've thought about it 100 times.
Yep.
I think about it every night of then nobody knows for sure.
Right.
And I like that. I like the open-ended question.
Yeah. No, it's, yeah. That's what my son said about this movie. And I think he's right, is that not only is it a Batman movie, not only does it give us a character growth that we haven't gotten before, but it's set up a world and a world that's more interesting than they've given us in Batman movies before.
Well, Batman that's more interesting because this one is actually a detective, you know? I mean, it, again, the little things, the first scene with him at the mayor's house, he's walking around. I know you hate the walk thing, but he's walking around and you're looking in the background. The photographer for the corner is like looking over. Oh, what is he looking at? Oh, I got to take a picture of that, and takes a picture. He starts following around, take a picture of stuff that he's looking at. It's like, he's not quite there yet because he made the mistake with the El Rada Alada, but it's just, I don't know. Oh, by the way, I just want to read something here about the Joker thing.
Sure.
Well, while it may seem obvious that Reeves placed the scene at the end of the Batman to set up Gauguin as the lead villain for the inevitable sequel, the director was quick to explain that not only was this not his intention, he is in no way convinced that Coger's Joker will appear in any more Batman movies. It's not an Easter egg scene, he said. It's not one of those end credit Marvel or DC scenes where it's like, hey, here's the next movie. In fact, I have no idea when or if we would return to that character in the movies.
Until Warner says, hey, give us the Joker.
Yeah. Until they look at the online buzz about that scene and everything, and they go, okay, it's done. He's the Joker. Bring him in.
Sorry, I just stepped in my Infinity Gauntlet. Is there going to be a lot of buzz for that particular scene? Like, again, I've been keeping away from everything to kind of keep fresh. Are people excited by the potential of another Joker?
There's a lot of articles that have been written about that scene. And YouTube videos talking about the scene.
Because anytime you talk about the Joker, you're going to get clicks. But if the director and the writers can do the same thing with another one of the characters as they did with the Riddler, we don't need the Joker.
We really don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Because we've seen so much of the right.
Yeah.
And again, like any kind of good monster, the more you see of him, the less scary he is. And like we just had a whole we just got done with 2 Jokers, right?
Yeah.
Who are arguably not as good as the guy, both who could be argued aren't as good as the guy who played him before, both those 2 guys. So I mean, like I feel like we don't need the Joker right now when there's still so much else I would love to see from this particular world.
Any Joker that they bring in is going to be compared to Heath Ledger's.
Or now Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for that role too.
True.
Like, you know what I really want to see in a sequel? Court of Owls.
I bet you Barry Keoghan would just argue with you.
I imagine he wants part. Yes, I imagine he wants to work.
And I think they kind of play with the idea of Court Owls in this movie too, right?
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. I think that we got a little bit of hints toward it, and I would like to see Gotham, because that's what the Court of Owls is Gotham's old world, right? Their old world money. And it makes sense in this broken world that Gotham, that the Blue Bloods would like to, fix things up a little bit. So
especially after everything is get flooded.
That's what I'm saying. I would really like to see the Court of Owls in the next one. If I was in charge of anything, which I'm not, I'd be honest, that's what I'd like to see.
So, which would go really well with the way that it goes really well with the direction the plot's going, because he's decided to be Hope now. He decides maybe I should use the Bruce Wayne persona for doing something, starts investing in stuff, and that's when the Court of Owls gets upset.
That sets it up really well, actually. So yeah, I kind of, we never saw, I think they were on Gotham or some crap like that, but I don't think we've ever gotten like a real version of the Court of Owls. So I'm down.
So crazy thought I'm putting out there.
All yours are crazy thoughts.
So the mayor's son.
Yes, I love that whole thing. I love how Bruce sees himself in the kid, right? I love the sequence when he saves the kid in the funeral from getting crushed by the car. Oh man, that was so cool.
Possibly this universe is Robin?
Nah.
No?
Blue Blood?
Okay. I mean, because that's the whole thing of him seeing himself in the kid and everything. It made me think, oh, maybe that's where they're going to go with this, but...
Nah.
Nah. All right.
I bet we don't get a Robin.
No, we need a Robin, I think. I want to see Robin done right. I really do. Not a 30-year-old guy.
Did I hear I thought I read somewhere where they probably won't connect this to anything else in DC, which is a shame because this is the DC, this is the Batman that the DC universe needs. But
according to DC, they're going to do more. It's going to be filmmaker focused. They're just going to make movies that do their own thing.
Well,
yeah,
there are 2 spin-off shows that are coming out of this movie to HBO Max. One being Gotham PD, starring Wright as Gordon, and the other one, what's the other one?
Didn't we just do the Gordon?
I think the other one is about...
He said Matt Reeves did an interview saying that his Gotham Central idea kind of spun into an Arkham show. He's more interested in doing a show about what goes on in Arkham.
Yeah, that's the other show is Arkham. So yeah, we're gonna get 2 HBO Max shows built off this universe. So they're starting to build something here. You can do the Bat Family without doing the DCEU.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, go ahead. Give me the look.
I like the movie.
Yeah,
I like the movie a lot.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap it up. We can go around and give our final thoughts and our score. 1 to 10 capes. Wow, I can't talk. And we'll start with John.
Oh, this. Yeah, I'm gonna give this 9.5 capes. This was
high praise.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, JD said it perfectly. The run up to this, all the advertising, or was it you said the advertising? The advertising sucked. It did not portray this in a good light. And when you're sitting there in the movie theater and you're watching it and you're slowly realizing, oh my God, this is my Batman, especially the first scene where he walked out of the darkness. It's just, yeah, I mean, and then I spent the rest of the movie just enjoying the hell out of it and not looking at my watch and enjoying the fact that they're trying to, actually have him actually be a detective. Yeah, I'm really happy with Patterson. Again, every time they cast a new Batman, there's always nah, that can't be. And now Patterson has proved us wrong, just like almost every other single one has proved us wrong, except for Val Kilmer. So yeah, I'm giving it 9.5. This is the best Batman movie.
Kilmer or Clooney?
Clooney, yeah, Clooney was a little bit better than Kilmer. Kilmer was I don't know, something about him didn't.
All right.
And Clooney was just doing what Schumacher said. So, I mean, he could have been a good Batman. He had the gravitas. He had the presence. He just was he was just not, given.
Well, let's ask our resident Clooney what he thought. Final thoughts and score.
I'll take that with a smile. I'll go with 9 out of 10. Stars, capes, bat ears, whatever you want to say. It's hard to be a perfect movie, and I'm not sure what this movie could have been better with. Again, I got the big time recency bias going, so I'm really high on the movie right now. Boy, it was really good. I was shocked. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it. I want to see it again, and it's gonna be tricky because I can't. My wife is like, I have no interest in seeing this movie, and she always goes to see Super. But she, again, the marketing campaign, I think, and she was also like, ugh, Robert Pattinson, like she's not a Twilight fan. So I mean, like, I think that that really turned her off. So I told her it's really good. My kid wants to see it, but no one.
A little too violent for him.
A little too violent for a 6-year-old. A little too violent.
Yeah. All right.
No parents.
Well, I could, you guys. Yeah, I don't like giving things a 10. It's hard to say something's perfect, but I will give it a 9. 9 out of 10 capes. Yeah, Patterson proved us wrong. I mean, and you have to give a lot of credit to the material,
and to Matt Reeves as a director,
Yes.
He knew it. He guided the ship and got the performances he wanted. And I thought the Apes movies were fine, but I thought this was damn good,
Yeah. So that's let us know what you thought. This is a perfect. I thought this was a perfect Batman movie. So let us know what you thought. I mean, I guess my only criticism is maybe it could have been tightened up a little bit, but
it's long. And I get people who that's their major critique of it. I get it. It is long. Stuff could have been tightened up. I have to go through it again to see what was redundant, but yeah.
But let us know what you think. Let us know over on Twitter or in the comments below, and we want to hear from you guys. So on that note, let's wrap up with some recommendation for our audience. John, you got anything for us this week?
I got nothing. I'm between seasons now. I just say go see the Batman. You will be pleasantly or very much surprised about how much you like this.
Okay, JD.
I'm about to finish The Dark Tower finally. It's taking me 2 years.
Wow.
I took a big break in between, but I mean, like, I'm about to finish it. I need another week and I should have it done. So I can't give a recommendation yet, but I really like it so far. So yeah.
All right. I would recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week, comic book reviews by our good friend D Square. All the links to our social media at the top of the page. And I'm going to say, go see this movie. Go see The Batman. Great movie. And I'm also going to say, if you haven't seen The Founder, go see it and you might never eat a McDonald's again. And
Which is just for your benefit, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's nothing bad about that.
It's going to help you on so many levels.
Much.
Though they do have the best fries, but they probably have gluten in them too, don't they, JD?
They, in fact, do have gluten in them because they put beef flavoring in the fries. And the beef flavoring has gluten.
That's crazy.
So there you go. So on that note, as always, thanks for listening. And don't let you keep caught in the door. Have a good week.